So now, Sam, I'm going to read this story to you, the same story we've been reading. I'm going to read the story to you. Now I want you to listen carefully because I'm going to ask you some more questions at the end. Okay? All right. Put your feet down. Listen carefully. Thank you. Catherine and her family like to spend their vacation camping out. Frequently, they go to either Great Smoky Mountains National Park or Yellowstone National Park. Since they have camped out for many years, they have become quite accomplished. Catherine is able to start a fire with flint and steel, build a lean-to for shelter, and find food in the forest on which they live. Catherine's favorite outdoor activity is canoeing. Although she is quite a good canoeer, there is one canoe trip that she'll never forget. It was a canoe trip she took with her family and her friend, Amy, down the Madison River near West Yellowstone. Catherine and Amy were in a canoe together following her parents down the river. The early going was fine, and they didn't have any major problems. The girls did get confused once or twice in their steering, and the boat would go sideways. But after about 30 minutes on the river, Catherine and Amy felt secure about their ability to navigate. Unfortunately, their canoe could not keep up with Catherine's parents' canoe because they were carrying all of the rations in 2 coolers. Slowly, the lead canoe disappeared around the bend. When the girls' canoe rounded a bend, not only could they not see the lead canoe, but they were heading directly into some rough white water. The rough water was swift, and there were a lot of rocks submerged below the surface. The swiftness and the rocks were causing problems for the jittery canoe and the 2 inexperienced girls. Just as the canoe was about to clear the rough water, it struck a large boulder just beneath the surface. Before the girls knew what had happened, the canoe had capsized, sending them into the icy cold river. Naturally, they had on life jackets, so they were not in much danger. But the 2 coolers full of food and the canoe started floating away from them at a rapid rate. Catherine managed to grab hold of the canoe and one paddle. Amy swam over to the shore. After much effort, both girls managed to pull up the canoe, empty the water, and start downstream after the lost coolers. But since they had only one paddle, they limped along, unable to catch up to the now disappeared coolers. Some 45 minutes later, feeling cold and upset, the girls rounded a sharp bend in the river. To their surprise, they saw the rest of their family sitting on the south side shore of the river. Catherine's dad had built a fire and was roasting hot dogs. Catherine's mother and little brother were sitting on the 2 coolers eating a hot dog and munching on potato chips. Dad said, "What took you so long? What took you 2 so long? We didn't know where you were going. We didn't know you were going to stop and take a swim. But thanks for sending the food on ahead." As cold as they were, Catherine and Amy couldn't help but laugh. All right. So I'm going to ask you some questions again. So let's talk again. Where did the story take place? After listening to me read it, where did the story take place?
In the boat.
Okay. And who was the story mainly about?
Amy and Catherine.
Okay. And what were the girls' problem?
They rode into some rough water with rocks, and the boat sunk.
Okay. In the story, Catherine and Amy felt secure about their ability to navigate. What does the word navigate mean?
It means
chosen road, so they could easily, find their way. Why couldn't the girls catch up with the floating coolers?
Because they couldn't catch up to the cooler because the cooler was going too fast.
And how did the problem of the lost food turn out?
Good.
Good. Why did it turn out good?
Because the food went straight to the parents.
Okay. How did Catherine and Amy feel after reaching Catherine's parents?
They felt good. They felt good.
Okay. And why is all's well that ends well a good thing for the story? If I say all's well that ends well, why is that a good thing for the story?
Because
everything turned out well and they didn't give up. Alright, so now we're going to do another story. And the name of this story is called The Mountain. Mountain Fire. Okay? So, this story is about two boys who are lost on a mountain. I want you to read the story and find out what they did to find their way home and what the results were of their problem resolution attempts, okay? I want you to read it carefully because I'm going to ask you to tell me about it after you read, okay? All right, I'll be right back. Come here. Come with me. Come here. Keep it going. Read, Sam. Out loud? No, to yourself. Okay. So, like we did before, I want you to tell me about the story you just read. Okay? Where did the story take place?
In the forest.
Okay. And who were the two boys in the story?
I forgot the name.
Brad and Kevin. Now, why were the boys sent upstream by Brad's father?
So they can look for no tracks.
Okay. What were Brad's and Kevin's problem after going upstream?
They got lost.
Okay, good job. And what did the boys do to be found?
They set a fire.
And what happened after their fire got out of hand?
The boys ran down the hill as quickly as they could.
Okay. And in the story, the boys saw interesting rock formations. In your own words, what would make an interesting rock formation? So in the story, the boys saw interesting rock formations. In your own words, what would make an interesting rock formation? And what new problem resulted from the forest fire?